Welcome to another episode of Unboxed Live. I'm your host, Rob Gagner. Sitting next to me is Nate Beck. Nate, thank you for joining me. We have a full Halloween basket of candy. We have berry flavored, kind of tangy candies. We have chocolate candies. We're going through this whole process to see what pairs well with good cigars. You were
Delicious.
saying Milky Ways are actually some of the most common notes you get out of cigars.
That's what I think. Yeah. And I think you could probably pick out a couple here, like Milky Way, Twix, even Kit Kat. You know, you sometimes get like a biscuit quality or a toastiness. You know, any of the cookies in there, that cookie flavor sometimes can come in there.
That one's open. Don't eat that.
Right? Now let's get rid of that. Oh, like when I was a kid, they used to tell us if there was the packaging was tampered, it would have pins in it or razor blades. Right. You'd have to break it and check.
Yeah.
You know, because that was all the rage back then. You're going to bite into a razor blade.
Right.
But yeah, I think in cigars, like Milky Way has a real prominent nougat quality, you know, that creaminess that's in there. And I think a lot of cigars that have that nutty, creamy, vanilla, almondy flavor, I think pair really well with this kind of candy because that's a flavor I think that's really apparent.
Yeah, and that's why we're smoking Caldwell's Savages, because it has a creamy flavor. It's pretty much, at least on their website, it says it's creamier, nuttier than Long Live the King, and the King is Dead. So that's what I went with. That's what we're smoking, but you can smoke anything medium bound. Anyways, before we get too heavy into the candy side of it, we have in the studio, we have Glynn and Joshua from PCA, because there is a huge threat to us as cigar smokers. There is 1,000% tax increase for premium cigars trying to be drafted through the federal bills. So let's bring on Glynn and Joshua. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks, guys, for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you about, as you mentioned, drastic tax increase at the federal level. It's something that was introduced in the House of Representatives and passed out of the House Ways and Means Committee. This is nothing that's new. The text of the bill has been introduced 2 previous times as standalone legislation before, but now it's included in the massive package in the discussion of the Build Back Better Act. So right now we're working with both the House, the Senate, as well as the White House to have these provisions removed. As you correctly pointed out, this will tax up to 1,000%, and in some cases even higher. Really, the larger cigars that are cheaper are the hardest hit by this tax because it moves from a per stick to a weight-based tax system. For the folks that are in our membership that also enjoy pipe tobacco, it is a 1,650% tax increase on pipe tobacco as well.
So isn't this what Europe has? Because I actually just saw a picture of somebody weighing their cigars who was a distributor for Europe, and that's it. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, it is an astronomical tax. You're looking at $3 per stick, $50 to $60 per box of new potential federal taxes if this were to go through. That's when you have your average premium cigar is $10, maybe a little bit more or less, depending on what you prefer. But that will be a dramatic increase, and for a variety of different reasons, it's problematic. They are saying in this bill that it will raise $970 billion, and they have year-to-year increases. Well, if you have higher prices, it's going to cause less people to smoke, which is what they introduced this bill originally in the beginning of this year as a way to curb consumption of tobacco products. Now they're saying, oh, let's use it to raise revenue. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
Well, speaking of trying to have it both ways, this is congressional math. The $96 billion that they project to raise includes products that the FDA just recently banned. So take that into consideration. They just said we're gonna as an agency they're gonna ban menthol cigarettes. They're gonna ban flavored cigars. They're gonna ban entire classes of product. But they're still using that in the math as to what this tax is going to raise. I call that congressional math.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so what bill is this currently in, Joshua? You said it. It's in a big bill right now.
So it's in the Build Back Better Act discussions. It was included in the version in the House Ways and Means Committee. The technical term for these provisions, and we're talking, provisions being inserted into a larger package, it's called the Tobacco Tax Equity Act. It's something that Senator Dick Durbin out of Illinois and Representative Raja Krishnamurthy in the House, they've been pushing for this in a variety of different ways. The original bill was called the Mamas Act that was introduced in the beginning of the year, and it was introduced as a pay-for maternal health services. So they've been trying to introduce this in a variety of different ways. It was getting no traction the previous two times. Here it caught some steam. They're looking to pay for, as far as a $3.5 trillion package. Hopefully it gets pared down. But they're trying to raise revenue. So it was one of those things that was inserted in the House. We're working. I've met in the last 4 weeks with 40 congressional offices in the House of Representatives, a dozen in the Senate. We're continuing to do our part on the lobbying side, both Glynn and myself, but we need consumers, retailers, and the industry to step up as well and reach out to their members to fight this egregious tax increase.
Perfect. Here it is, our call to action. So we are going to go to cigaraction.org, and we have it here just so you can see what it is. You land on cigaraction.org, and you're basically going to scroll down the first one on the left, Federal Action Center. You click on that. Once you click on that, the nice thing about this website is when you scroll down, Matt, you'll see oppose the premium tobacco tax increase now. So click on that, and it actually makes it explains the whole thing right there. The whole Dick Durbin story, the Tobacco Tax Equity Act. You put in your first and last name and your address and email address, and you're basically off to hitting your state representatives. They'll get an email. In fact, I got an email back from my state representative thanking me for reaching out to them. So awesome. It is working.
Outstanding.
So you do need to do it when they hear it, and they get a lot of when the voice of the people speaks in these emails, as much as it's just a probably automated email that they're sending back to me.
Right.
It does make them think, whoa, we got a lot of emails on that. And they track this stuff, right, Glenn?
Sure.
They do. And I'm glad you said that. Josh and I have been in hundreds of these offices over the years, and especially in the House of Representatives. They keep track of those yays and nays, especially on controversial items. And I've been in offices where literally at the reception desk, there's a piece of paper with a yay column and a nay column with the subject matter. And on something like tobacco taxation, it'll be there. If you're in that House district, and you are, because the magic of our system is you put in your zip code. It's driven by the zip code. That's how they know you're in their congressional district. That means they know it's a constituent, not some robocaller, not some mass-produced grassroots campaign that you can actually pay for. Right. They know it's coming from their congressional district. And with the tightness of elections nationwide, 100 votes makes a difference. 1,000 votes makes a difference. And if some of these congressional districts hear from hundreds and hundreds of consumers from their district, it can literally sway an opinion. And that's the significance of going to cigaraction.org to let your voices be heard. And those U.S. senators are under a lot of pressure as well. So they're a little tougher to get to. And because they're a little tougher to get to, this system makes it very easy to reach out to your members of the United States Congress.
Awesome. Well,
That's
what
fantastic.
A great tool to use. And if you, the link to this website is going to be in the description, but share this, put this, after I was done with your email, it said, do you want to share this? And I shared it out on Facebook. I tried to share it everywhere I could so that people could do exactly what you're saying. Quickly fill out the information, give their state representative a shot, and then understand this does matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are spot on. The further the reach, the better. We've sent and facilitated over 20,000 grassroots actions since this campaign started. We need to double that. We need to triple that. We have to really put our best foot forward, because this is the one of the largest imminent threats that we've faced in the longest of times as the premium cigar industry and other categories as well. But I would say it also helps us on the lobbying side. You folks being in Minnesota, I can go on my end of the platform and see, all right, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Tina Smith, they received 200 messages from constituents. When I go into that meeting, I'm going to say, you've heard from 200 consumers. You have 50 small business brick and mortar retailers in your district or in your state. This is why you need to care. So it helps us from our argument side as well.
I love that. I
That's
love
fantastic.
the fact that you guys are seeing that stuff and bringing it up in your personal meetings. So this is great. I mean,
in real time.
Yeah.
This is not just a marketing tool for us getting everything through. This is just our voices being heard. This is literally being able to say, hey, there is somebody lobbying for my position to the people that matter. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Glynn, for doing that. As we look at that website, when we go back to it, Glynn, you said one of the areas that I lack a lot of knowledge is what's going on my state level. And Glynn, you said there's a state button here.
There is. There you have it, the State Action Center. And listen, over the next 60 days, over half of the country's state capitals are going to go into session. And you're showing right now a lot of the issues that we confronted last year. A lot of them are going to come back this year. Some of them good, some of them actually good, like a tax decrease in Delaware, a cigar bar and a tax cap bill in New York, a tax cap bill in New Jersey, are all going to be coming up in 2022, along with probably about 200 other pieces of legislation, allowing cigar bars in Montana. So it's a combination of the good and the bad, and this is where you can track that. We encourage cigar consumers across the country to daily, weekly, go to this page. And this, just like what you did on the congressional side, this side is married to every member of your state legislature. So simultaneously, the way we do with the United States Congress, this will hit your state capital. And believe it or not, if it hits a major metro area, like a bad bill comes up in New York City Council or Chicago City Council, you'll see major metropolitan bills come up in this state section as well. And if you put your email address in and just register with cigaraction.org, we will simultaneously, you won't even have to go to the site. We will send out these alerts to you as these bills come up. And we've already got some preliminary bills that have been filed for the upcoming session. Get this, the bill has come back for probably about the 7th time to allow local governments in Florida, of all places, to regulate outdoor smoking. Outdoor smoking. That bill's already been pre-filed in the Florida legislature. So we're going to have an action alert purely on that issue to dramatize how the system works. So listen, we're in a pre-file period, October, November, December. All these state legislatures will be coming back into play in January. So this is where the battleground is. Tobacco control loves to start things in state capitals, and they have a way of going to city halls and Congress, and it's a domino effect on these types of legislation. But again, we've got some good positive stuff going on out there as well. So it's important to let your voices be heard. If you want to have cigar bars in cigar shops in the state of New York, there's a great piece of legislation there to help you out to do that. Let your voices be heard in Albany as well as in Washington, and we're going to do that across the country.
That's just amazing. Thank you guys for putting this together. Everyone, please share it, get out there, do your part. This affects us so much. And if you are a true cigar enthusiast, you're definitely going to want to go over to cigaraction.org, sign up for the emails, and just start getting involved, because that is really going to help Joshua, Glynn, everyone else. They're all going to get a bunch of data that will allow them to say, hey, this stuff matters to you and your constituents, and you should not take action, or you should take action on the ones that are positive for us. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. I really appreciate the website. It's absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you, guys. We really look forward to hopefully seeing you soon. If you're in D.C. and want to come and meet with one of your members of Congress, we're happy to facilitate that. and we're always really appreciative of all the work and the stuff that you all do as partners of the PCA, and giving us this opportunity to speak to your audience about some important issues today.
Absolutely. You're very
Fantastic.
And thank our friends at Boveda for making this opportunity possible.
Absolutely.
You and me both, Glenn.
Cheers, gentlemen. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks you.
Thanks for letting us join you.
Well, I can't say enough about that. Cigar Action, that website is phenomenal. I actually, when we went to the state part of it, there was a Minnesota bill that I kind of heard about, but I love the fact that it lays out what the bill is. What is it doing? What is it actually going to have? What's the consequence on the cigar or on your situation that's going to take effect? I love that, because now I don't have to read some, I'm not going to name a news channel, but I don't have to read a news channel to tell me what's going on.
Right.
That's most important to me. This kind of stuff I love.
Absolutely.
So take action, please share it. You do your part. That's all I can say. That's.
We all love premium cigars. We don't want to see them disappear from the market.
1,000% tax increase.
Just because they fall prey to this idea that all tobacco is bad. It doesn't matter if it's cigarettes or vape or chewing tobacco or premium cigars. It all falls under that same umbrella. And we all know and love premium cigars, and we know what kind of balance and stress relief these bring to our lives. I don't want to see these go away anytime soon.
No. All right. Getting into what this whole Friday is all about. It's crazy. It's nuts. You might think, why would you be pairing cigars with candy? I thought the same thing to myself. I have no idea what I'm getting into. I haven't even tried this yet. But of course, I've always done the chocolate thing. That's really easy to do. Chocolate, cigars goes great together. But really diving into Halloween candy, some of these I'm not looking forward to trying. And I'll be interested to see what ends up happening. But ultimately, what I was told is medium-bodied cigars are probably the best to do this with. But again, choose what you want, choose what you like, and see what works. Personally, I'm just going to get started right away with my favorite. Of course, a Kit Kat is probably going to be something that I'm going to enjoy with this cigar.
And I'm going to go in for what I was talking about earlier, Milky Way. And I have an interesting story to tell when we get to this bucket.
Right. That's this bucket is full of fruity candies. Things without chocolate in them. Stuff I'm thinking sour. Oh my God, it's going to be horrible. Chocolate so far in the Kit Kat. Perfect.
I just got back, Rob, from a trip visiting several of my accounts in Dallas and in Houston. And one of those accounts had the great pleasure of being able to converse with, pardon me.
The nougat is really getting
it. It is. The caramel, yeah. Luciano Meireles of Ace Prime Cigars. One of the best new cigars that I've had as of late is the Fiat Lux that they make.
Yeah.
Fantastic cigar. He made some really interesting points, and he actually brought tobacco with him in his backpack and rolled us each a cigar to kind of give us a unique smoking experience. And I had mentioned to him that I really enjoy some acidity, a little bit of salinity in cigars, kind of brings a little bit of bitterness that kind of counterbalances some of the sweetness and the sugars in the tobacco leaf. And he said when you smoke for 3 to 5 minutes an acidic cigar, and he equated it to when your body's getting ready to eat. Your body starts to produce acids in your stomach to aid in digestion. You start to get more saliva as you get hungry so that your body's able to process all the food that you're about to eat. He said what that does is it opens up your taste buds when your mouth starts to salivate. So he said, find a cigar, like the Fiat Lux would be a perfect example of this. It's an acidic cigar, so it kind of will make you salivate a little more than others. Have that cigar and then another of your favorite cigars already lit and ready to go. You smoke that cigar with a little bit of acidity. He said, then go back to your other cigar and see what new flavors that you pick up, because that acidity is going to open up your taste buds. All of that saliva is going to accentuate the flavors and aromas you get from the other cigar. He goes, and I bet you that cigar will taste a little different.
That is the
Isn't that fascinating?
That is the newest fold for me on being able to taste cigars better. Using a more acidic cigar to open up the palate. Could you not use a cigar and just get something acidic?
I would certainly think so.
Lemon?
Yeah. Like he actually said, really one of the best times to enjoy a cigar is in the 30 minutes right after you finish your meal, because your body still has some of that acidity in your mouth. You still are producing that saliva to aid in digestion. It's a really great time to smoke a cigar. After that 30 minutes, sometimes the cigars can be a little less pleasurable because your body becomes a little more alkaline. I was like, fascinating.
So interesting, because it is so true. If I look back on some of the best times I've ever had a cigar, it is right after a big, nice meal. And
anybody that's watching, I don't know if we have any comments come in here, Matt, that let us know if you guys have ever experienced having a cigar or some candy that has some acidity in it, and see what that does or how that changes another cigar. So, all right. Speaking of that, do we have any Sour Patch Kid? Oh, that ought to do it. Like the gummy with
big gummies, Lifesaver gummies.
I don't know if that's just sugar or if that's got tart.
It's all sugar in this bucket over here.
What else?
Oh,
do we have any like Sour Patch Kid? That would work.
Sprees?
Yeah, that would work. That's definitely got some citric acid in it.
Sweet tarts.
That would do it too.
Okay. Wow.
Let's do that one. Let's do sweet tarts.
Sweet tarts are changing. It used to be a roll like a spree, and now it's a sleeve.
It's literally hard chalk that we're gonna eat here.
Sugary chalk. Oh man, this is blueberry or something. Whoa.
Can feel it in the.
Dude,
it's so tart.
As a kid, I used to love this stuff.
I know. You go on a nerds bender.
Oh, that is whew. I got.
All right. Do you feel the saliva though?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like it's really going.
Not as bad as I thought it was. You know, I thought like the sweet like berry would just be like way off, and
I actually think it's not too bad.
No, it's not.
So
not at all.
When we were in Vegas, I don't know if you've been there, Rob, when there's a particular Italian restaurant in Vegas, and the sommelier at this restaurant said that his 3 favorite beverages to have with a cigar, number 1, fresh pressed blueberry juice. That's the best beverage in his mind.
So that's the tartness.
That's the tartness. The acidity, right? See how we're coming in like it's kind of this berry flavor.
Coming together.
And then 2 would be cognac and 3 would be espresso.
Ah, great.
And so I tried it. Our captain in, or our chief in command, Sean Knutson, went to the local co-op and brought me a bottle of blueberry juice. Super gracious. I couldn't believe it. Said, all right, Nate, see what you think.
Did you like it?
I did. It was not my favorite. I still think I like a bright acidic coffee, and I think that's why I like coffee so much with cigars.
Oh, that's why espresso, because it's way more like I don't like espresso because of the acidity.
Correct.
From like I don't like to consume a ton of it, and I usually gravitate towards more like the lighter espressos. Those super dark espressos, I've never been a big fan of, but now I understand. Like,
makes sense, right?
I need to pay attention.
Yes.
To the cigar afterwards, because that acidity is aiding in my ability to taste, possibly.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I actually like this flavor with the cigar more than I like the Milky Way. I think it's really unique.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I want to try a spree then.
All right. So what are we going for? I'll do red. Red. Here we go. Yep.
Oh, you don't chew these, do you?
Oh, you can. Teeth crushers.
All right. Well, let me know what candy pairings you enjoy with your cigars in the comments. Ask any questions that you have. It sounds ridiculous, but we're trying it because it's fun. That's what cigar smoking is all about for me. I just want to have fun. So,
All right, Rob, do you like Milky Ways?
I do.
See if I can find you one here. I'm
I like
curious.
Rolo's better though.
Oh man, are you gonna be able to talk after eating a Rolo?
No, probably not.
Try one of these. See what you think next. All right, Justin Lawler. Got to tell us what sort of candy that you prefer. Oh, salted nut roll. Tried a salted nut roll with a cigar recently. 3 fire emojis. I'm assuming that means you liked it.
Love a good salted nut
Mhm.
roll.
Had the pleasure of trying a gentleman's brand new cigar that's about to be released onto the market as a test blend. Got to smoke that at a shop down in Texas at Industrial Cigars. And we got like a salted peanut shell note, like the kind where you crack the shell off and then eat the peanuts. We got a real note of that when we were first tasting this cigar. It was really cool.
See, now that's really interesting because with the Milky Way and the chocolate, the creaminess of the cigar went away and I actually tasted more of the sharp notes. Whereas with the tartness of the spree or the sweet tart, I actually tasted more of the creaminess.
I completely agree.
So
Right?
I thought this bucket was going to be just a complete and total wash of like, this is horrible. Don't try this bucket. Stick over here.
Right.
My mental model is totally broken. I have no idea why I thought the chocolate was just going to be so much better and like bring everything out. But it kind of mutes it.
It does mute it. Like I think it actually, the chocolate, if we're talking about this concept of acidity and creating more saliva, which allows your taste buds to actually taste more flavors, you're getting saliva when you eat a candy bar, but that chocolate and that caramel and that nougat really coats your tongue. So I think it mutes a lot of those flavors. I think with some of the candies over here, because there's not so much of that coating, you eat it, chew it, it's gone, but you have all that saliva. And then you have that cool sweetness and that tartness that adds in some of that acidity, which I think actually I get a really creamy almondy note in this cigar, like a really nice nuttiness. I get it way more with one of these tart candies than I did with Milky Way.
Amazing.
I think it's great.
I didn't think that was
I
going to
would
be
have never expected that.
No, not at all. Again, everyone is throwing up Milky Way dark chocolate, Milky Way
Right?
bracket, Milky Way versus Sweet Tart.
Sweet
Tart
Tart
wins. Next up. All right. I was actually interested to see what Skittles would do. I mean, taste the rainbow, right?
Uh-huh. All right.
I don't know how this is going to be good, man.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, here's a bunch of berry flavor in my mouth.
Who doesn't love carnauba wax at lunchtime?
I'm so hungry too.
I know I do.
And I'm eating candy. Son of a gun. I like Skittles though. I've always liked Skittles.
Mm-hmm.
It's been one of my favorite candies since I was a kid.
Taste the rainbow.
But I never would have grabbed a pack of Skittles to
No.
pair with a cigar.
No.
But I just did.
Ooh, anyone for mallow cups?
Again, I mean, not horrible.
I'm really digging this, actually. This is weird.
So weird. I really
Because I
thought
really
was
like
gonna
this
get
cigar.
lost.
Like this cigar's tasting really good. It's got a really funky ash to it. Like it's real flaky. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Like tons of little flyaways, but this is really tasting cool.
I don't know. Well,
Oh, shoot.
very
Have you
interesting.
retrohaled since?
Yeah.
Very creamy.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
immediately
really
after
creamy.
the sweet tart, I retrohaled and I was like, yep, cream's back.
Uh-huh.
It's very good.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Maybe opposites attract, right? Or well, of course, the acidity thing is playing an effect here, but I don't know. My other favorite is M&M's.
I think
And-
Julie's on fire today. Can we put that comment up? If those creepy Sour Patch Kids characters show up, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Where are the censors? Where are the
Mm.
who's gonna bleep us? No,
Yeah,
too late.
right.
Too late. All right, M&M's. Peanut M&M's.
That brings back a
All right.
memory of my grandpa. He always had peanut M&Ms inside the closet for me to try. Every time I saw him, I would get a pack of peanut M&Ms, my favorite candy, hands down. Got
This
the
is your
nuttiness.
favorite?
Yeah, nuttiness. You got a little bit of the chocolate and the candy shell, whatever. But if it was just like chocolate and
Mhm.
M&Ms, I'd still be happy.
I'm going to have to grab a cigar and try my favorite candy, hot tamales, and see what that tastes like with the cigar.
I can't imagine.
That's
See
going
now,
to be an awful cinnamon blast.
it's totally changed for me now with that nuttiness. I don't know.
Still really good, but it's different, isn't it?
It is different. I'm trying to figure out what the difference is.
Like it's not, it doesn't do the opposite. It doesn't make this cigar sour.
Uh-uh.
It's hard to tell if the creaminess is the chocolate or if it's the cigar. They kind of like fuse together, like flavors. It works. I don't hate it.
Sweet Martha cookies. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, very good.
That's where I got to divert.
You don't like cookies?
I
Chocolate
love
chip
cookies. I do not like those chocolate chip cookies.
Well, chocolate for everyone else not from the State Fair of Minnesota, chocolate chip cookies and cigars, phenomenal.
Yes.
Mm.
But we like what we like. Isn't that how
What
it
does
goes?
Trevor say? A cigar after a meal is always best, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cool to just hear the science behind it, though. I mean, the acidity and the whole flavor and the palate is ready and going. And, you know, you don't think
Fascinating.
about that when
Fascinating.
you're just going to go light up or at least I don't. I don't
Right.
think about that kind of stuff.
I'm a very
Um,
curious person. So finding out the science behind why we like things, I'm always intrigued by that.
I'm interested in these Heaths because
All right.
to me, Heath, that like caramel, hard caramel would be like really good.
One thing I like about these is they have a little bitterness. That toffee is a little bit kind of like burnt caramel.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Who knew you'd just be, maybe on your lunch hour, watching two guys smoke cigars and eat candy. It's thrilling TV.
It is filling.
Don't kid yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to subscribe to our channel.
Mm-hmm.
Click the ring button. You don't want to miss content like this. It is just absolutely gripping. Can hence a little sarcasm in my tone, but I do appreciate people who subscribe because then we know that you're out there. So please do.
Do we dare?
I don't like those. I never have.
I don't either.
But
I don't know. I like a big scoop of peanut butter.
I
like chocolate.
Butter. I love peanut butter. I love chocolate.
Don't like these. It's like if there's a way that you could make peanut butter taste chalkier and mushier and weirder,
That's good.
this would be it.
The Heath bar is good.
See, I wondered
like the
about
Heath
that.
bar. I'm digging that. I don't know what it is, but Trevor says Dr. Pepper is supposed to be good with cigars. Have you guys tried it? No, I have not.
I have, and
Is it?
it's really good.
Really?
Yeah, because the sweetness of that Dr. Pepper and all of those different, I guess you could say,
What is it?
Herbs
40
and
some odd
spice. It's
like
it's a ton of flavors. Heard a very interesting story. I had never heard the origin of Dr. Pepper. Do you know the origin of Dr. Pepper?
no.
Fine gentleman in Dallas by the name of Cale Martin owns a shop called Dallas Discount Cigars. We were sharing some great stories while we sat in the shop and had a cigar. Dr. Pepper is like the soda of Texas. So
Really?
Yep. So this, I think he was a pharmacist, but he was creating this soda, and he was very interested in a young woman and fell head over heels in love with this woman. Her father decided that he was not fit for her, couldn't make enough money as a pharmacist or wasn't going to be able to support her. So he said no when he asked for a hand in marriage. So he left, moved to Texas. I hope I'm getting the story right. Dejected. When he created the Dr. Pepper recipe, the young woman that he was in love with, her last name was Pepper. and her father was a doctor. And so he named it after the man who said no to him asking for her hand in marriage. Isn't that crazy?
I love this.
I'm pretty sure that's if I think I got the story right. So
Did he ever get the girl though?
he never got the girl. Never got the girl.
Would have been nice.
Yep.
Would have been nice to show back up on Mr.
Kind of a ballsy move.
on the doctor's front porch and said, "Hey, by the way, I think I have that money that you wanted."
And then in a weird twist of fate, or irony, I should say, a weird twist of irony, he wasn't allowed to marry this woman because her father felt he wouldn't have enough money to support her. He then created what became the most iconic sodas, right up there with Coke and Pepsi,
Right.
because it's so different.
Right.
And now he ended his life worth $1 bajillion. I mean, just loads and loads of money.
Wow.
Would have had more than enough to support her.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
Well, there's another candy.
Oh, I was hoping we'd get there.
These, hold that up to the camera.
Uh-huh.
That's probably the most iconic. That is a Italian black licorice candy. This is coming at us from Robert Caldwell. One time I was at a trade show and he was like, "Hey, do you want one of these?"
Are these the same kinds?
Yeah.
Same kinds. Okay.
And
Let's
these,
see if we can hold this up here.
they're literally pure licorice.
Which is very different than what most black licorice is, which is anise seed.
Yes.
So if you've ever had ouzo, or I believe sambuca is also got a big anise component to it.
Yeah. I didn't know the difference. I had to look it up. So these ones are like a French company, and Robert says these are all just sugars. So these are, no good.
No.
Don't do those. These ones I got on Amazon. These Italian, what's the name of it? How do you say that?
This is Amarelli.
Amaretti?
Garantita Purissima. I think it's Liquirizia di Calabria.
These little tiny things.
So licorice of Calabria.
You just stick in it's like a hard candy. And he said, medium-bodied cigars, get this in your cheek, and then you smoke the cigar at the same time. I better shut this so I don't ash all
You getting some of that bitterness?
Uh-huh.
I dig that. And I think most people have no concept of what actual licorice tastes like. They only know what anise tastes like. So like the black licorice you can get at Target, or black jelly beans that you get at Easter.
No.
All anise seed. It's really like an assertive kind of punch in the face. I don't mind it, but it's a real assertive flavor. Real, honest to goodness licorice. I think it's far more herbal.
Yeah, this is
like it's creamy.
Yeah.
Right?
And so the licorice root versus the anise that you were talking about, you got to Google it. It's two totally different plants, two totally different structures. But this, now, he said it could totally change the experience. I think there was like a licorice world is one of the websites I went to, but you could just go on Amazon, and I typed in
some of that Australian licorice. That's really good. They're like really soft chews. Have you ever had those?
Yes. I typed
This is
in
good.
black licorice hard candies, and I think I got what we ended up needing on
This is
Amazon.
way more bitter than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like for fans out there who like bitter cocktails, the Negroni, Amaros, any of those herbal liqueurs, people that like to drink Fernet.
Yeah.
If you like those flavors, you would absolutely love these candies.
And even if you're not a black licorice fan, this is not like really off-putting. I thought it was going to be super off-putting, and it's not. It's really interesting. I've tried it.
I get a little more pepper.
Yeah, it's
like again, that bitterness creates acidity in your mouth.
It totally changed the flavor of this cigar.
Totally.
I can't say I'm 100% in love with it with this cigar. I would want to try a different cigar with this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the risk you take. Like I wouldn't really do this until I got down to the end of my cigar, because ultimately you could be like, that was not good.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the risk you take, but it's fun to see the different effect it has. but it will totally change the flavor that you get. And
Like, I'm really curious. There's a particular cigar that I very much like, the Hoyo de Nicaragua, Antonio, Connecticut. It's kind of a fuller bodied kick of flavor in a Connecticut wrappered cigar, but it's real floral. And I wonder if this would go really well with that. Kind of boost the floral notes, that kind of herbal quality that you get.
Yeah.
I often equate when I use the word floral in talking about cigars, like what you smell when you walk into a greenhouse or a conservatory, you know, that has sculptures and pools, and they change out the flowers quite a bit. You get this whole mix of earth and flowers and greenery and kind of herbaceousness. It all kind of makes this cool package. I think that's one of my favorite things when I taste that in a cigar.
Absolutely. I like nuances. For me, the winner so far has been the Heath bar.
I think I'm with you.
I'm digging it.
I'm going to do another one of those. It's real good.
But
Yep.
as you guys are out there with,
This assertive, these licorice, it's
the real deal.
Yep. Not very
Okay.
sweet.
I apologize for Robert. He sent me a package. It just didn't come in time, so I wasn't able to get it on the show. But he was sending me some of these black licorice candies. Try it. The black licorice candies can go from really sweet to really spicy to kind of more on the savory side. He said there's all different kinds. They're really hard to find, though. And like I said, this Amarelli brand was the most predominant one on Amazon.
Yeah.
So
They're cool tins, like the kind your
very cool.
your grandparent would have kept in like a suit coat pocket.
It's some old world stuff.
Yeah, I dig those.
Yeah. So as you're out and you got maybe kids trick-or-treating, or heck, all this candy is going to go on sale probably eventually. Pick up a bag, try it with your favorite cigars, see what you like. Don't be afraid of the berry stuff, the sweet tarts, the Skittles.
It works.
The
Starburst.
Starburst. Red Starbursts are my favorite.
Ooh. I think I will go in for orange. That's my favorite.
You like the orange ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you like Almond Joys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could share a bag together because that's all the stuff I don't like. Yeah, you can have the Almond Joys and the orange ones.
My kids love me at Halloween because Almond Joys are like the dead weight in their bag. They're like, oh, coconut.
Another Almond Joy.
I will literally end up with a mound of Almond Joys. And my kid's like, Dad, I found another one. I'm like, I got it. I'm good. I got like 300 already.
Oh. Candy.
I love Starburst.
Me too. Hey, when we were behind the scene with Josh from PCA, he gave us a really cool tip. He said after he's done smoking a cigar, to kind of maybe cleanse his palate, maybe get rid of the cigar flavor that he's had on his mouth. Now, I particularly like that flavor, unless it was a bad cigar.
Me too.
But ultimately, let's say you were going somewhere and you're like, hey, I just don't want all this on my breath or whatever. He keeps the hard root beer candies in his desk, and he'll pop one of those in his mouth. And really what it does is it kind of scrubs the palate of all that. And then it just kind of freshens his breath and kind of gets rid of that lingering kind of tobacco oil and sugar that you just had. And he said it's really, really good. I'd never heard that before. Pro tip, pass it on to you guys. I hope you try it. I didn't even see that in the candy aisle because, of course, it's not one of the most popular things.
Yeah, who buys root beer barrels unless you're at, a really old-timey candy shop where they literally have them in a wooden barrel. And you buy them by the pound, like by the saltwater taffy, that kind of candy store.
Dude, the cigar bounced back after. Okay, so I had the black licorice. I kind of wasn't digging that with this cigar. Then I went straight to the red Starburst, and now the cigar is back to like that creamy, that nuttiness that I like. It's all back. This is amazing. I am shocked, literally shocked that this is actually working. Crazy.
So I'm going to go out there and say on the chocolate side, Heath toffee, like chocolate covered toffee, delicious. I'm going for this bucket because I think these candies taste phenomenal with these cigars.
Well, I don't know why that is, but
It's great.
actually working.
It's super good.
because I really do. Go try it for
Mhm.
yourself. See what you think. Again, try whatever cigar you like. Maybe that's your favorite. Again, we were told medium-bodied cigars do best in this area. Creamy, nutty, just run-of-the-mill, great cigars. Again, do your part with PCA. Please go to cigaraction.org, sign up, get those emails flying so that we can fight this. We do not want to be taxed. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great Halloween. I will not be here next Friday because we're dropping another episode of Box Press. We have the second video to the first video of Cigar Smoking World Championships. If you don't know what it's about, watch the first video. You'll get all the information you need. But the second video, we go to the U.S. Finals in Pittsburgh. This is where the elite are competing. And by elite, I mean first-timers that have gone through a competition and now have to compete against each other. And there's 12 of them. But actually, one of the gentlemen's, shout out to Boston Jimmy, who runs Stogie Press as a blog, and he had smoked that cigar 26 times before the competition. He has a very unique way of lighting that cigar. I cannot wait for you guys to see this video. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be out next Friday. Make sure you subscribe. Get notified that when that is dropping, it goes live every Friday. Every other Friday, we try to drop a Box Press. So get notified, like, subscribe. Appreciate you watching. Leave comments below. Inspire each other to try different candies, different things. Again, have a blessed and happy weekend and happy Halloween to you all.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Cheers.
Here.
We're going to eat some more candy.
There we are.